guys. So I was just scrolling through Twitter and I ended up coming across a report by a pretty credible source. I think it was Pro Football Talk. Not 100% sure if it was them, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, inside the report, inside the article, they were basically saying how the New York Jets felt as though Le'Veon Bell, right, last season's big offseason acquisition, they felt as though he gained weight. He overall wasn't the same player that he was in Pittsburgh, and that he lost a step. He just basically saying that this isn't what the Jets signed up for. He lacked explosiveness and all these different things. My first initial reaction to seeing that was, obviously, he is 2 years removed from Pittsburgh. He took a ton of carries. He took a beating in Pittsburgh. He did not even play the sport of football the season prior to signing with the Jets. He's on a brand new team with brand new personnel and a brand new system with pretty much an incompetent head coach. So, yeah, he's not going to be putting out or producing the same exact numbers that or statistics that he was putting out in Pittsburgh. Also, keep in mind that the Steelers are a fantastically they run their team really well, right? They know how to draft late, guys buy in. It's as of late it kind of crumbled, obviously, but they had a solid team. Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger. So it's like, that was my first initial reaction. It was like, yeah, like, fans knew that Le'Veon was not going to be the same exact player. Why did the Jets not feel that way? That was kind of my first reaction. And then I'm, reading the comments, reading all the mentions on the Twitter posts from football fans, from Jets fans. Everybody's voicing their displeasure towards the organization, right? Nobody was really attacking Le'Veon. Everybody was kind of more focusing their pretty much just their anger towards the team. And I gotta be honest with you, the fans are right? The fans are correct. And it started, right, these questions started to mount in my head. Smaller questions, right, at first. Smaller questions like, how does Le'Veon feel when he reads this? Because he's going to, if he hasn't already. And then it was like, how are the other Jets players in the locker room going to feel when they read something like this? Because it seems to me that under the Gase era, even though it's been one season, under the Gase era, I feel as though I feel like there's just so many leaks, right, compared to the Rex days, compared to the Bulls days. I just feel everything comes out to the media, right? There's so many different rumors. There's so many reports. There's so many different articles talking about feelings and stuff like that amongst the team, around the team, anonymous players speaking and stuff. I just feel as though there's so much stuff being leaked to the media. It's insane. It's not like a tightly ran ship. It's not like everybody's on board going in one direction. Everybody is just kind of wishy-washy. Everybody has different motives in mind, and it's very odd. And then it all kind of trickled into one big question. After I was thinking about who possibly leaked this information, it all boiled down to one thing. Who is going to want to sign with the New York Jets this March? Because as of right now, in the span of 1 year, we have completely destroyed the reputation of this team. Completely destroyed it. Whether you want to talk about the Jets getting absolutely humiliated against the league's worst, Miami Dolphins, embarrassing loss. Cincinnati Bengals, the worst team record-wise in the league, kicked our ass this season. Killed on Monday night against the Patriots. Just everybody's getting injured. It's just a bad look, right? Who's going to want to play for that? And then you're starting to think like of all these other things that kind of came out as well throughout the season that kind of went under, that kind of got swept under the rug. Things like Kelechi Osemele, that whole, just what a disaster that was. Basically saying he was hurt. And the Jets said, no, you're not. And he said, yes, I am. I don't want to play, so I'm going to go talk to multiple doctors, and every single doctor backed me up. And the Jets said, no, you're still lying. And then they botched the whole sending over the paperwork and everything like that. What a horrible look. Ended up releasing him. One season, right? They acquired him in the offseason, and then they already screwed that up. And then you have this whole entire thing about Quincy Enunwa just going on this Twitter rant saying that the Jets were fining him the maximum amount of money for missing time. And Quincy's been a Jet for a while now, right? He was a late round pick back in the John Idzik days, before Mike Maccagnan, right? 2014. I think it was either 2013 or 2014. I can't really remember. Anyway, he's been a Jet for a while. Started to slowly come on the scene, and then he finally made a name for himself and was making an impact as kind of that hybrid wide receiver tight end. And he comes out and just rips the team, just rips, not really using names, but just says this is, unprofessional. It's unfair. I've given a lot to this team, and this is how they're treating me. That's not a good look. And then you're getting all these reports kind of throughout the season saying that multiple players on the team, the majority of players on the team, have Quincy Enunwa's back, have Kelechi Osemele's back. It's ridiculous. And I just, as a fan of the team, as a fan of football, you never want to see a head coach just completely act like a dictator. And then to top it all off, the team's best player, the team's most loved player, the fans love this guy, Jamal Adams, is being shopped around with the, trade, as trade bait and stuff like that. And I get that. I completely understand it. Why? Because the Jets were, we were a horrible team at that point in the season. And that's what horrible teams do. You kind of want to start to rebuild a little bit. You might want to ship off some of your good players to acquire some nice picks. Look at the Oakland Raiders and what they got for Khalil Mack. Look at what the Jaguars got for Jalen Ramsey. So I understand wanting to shop good players just to see, what the market value is for some of these guys. And especially, when you look at the safety position, I don't want to say it's a dying position by any means, but you could have the two best safeties, right? The number one strong safety, the number one free safety in the league. How is that going to really translate into wins? You can make the argument that it's on the lower end of the scale of percentage to win, if that makes any sort of sense, as opposed to, quarterback and offensive line and all those positions. I personally did not want to trade Jamal Adams. We ended up not trading Adams, which I think was cool because, he's 23, 24 years old, and he's already the best strong safety in the league. Really, he's the heartbeat of the defense, great leader. Greg Williams loves him. He loves playing for Williams. But, I understand the whole, seeing what you can get for him, but the way it was handled between Adams, between Joe Douglas, between Adam Gase, it was a complete and utter mess. Everybody was mad at each other. There was no communication amongst each other, so everybody was talking to the media. It was just a mess. It was just I can't even get into it, but basically what I'm trying to say is, by the way, this all happened in the course of one season. Over the span of one season, we screwed up the relationships with 3 players on the team, had multiple reports, multiple rumors swirling about how Adam Gase didn't want the players that Mike Maccagnan signed, he wants it to be his team and not the GM's team, and they weren't on the same page. But then it begs the question, why did Chris Johnson and Mike Maccagnan hire Adam Gase in the first place? We let the GM that we knew we were going to fire pick the players, and we didn't give any of the coaching staff input during the draft. It makes no sense. Complete incompetence by this team. So yeah, I agree with the fans about being angry with the organization and not at Le'Veon Bell. But going back to the original question, who's going to want to come to sign here? Because outside of the money and outside of the city that we play in, there's really no benefit. Really no benefit. Unless you're, a star quarterback or something like that that's going to hit the market or that possibly could be available. I could see a Matthew Stafford or a who else? Maybe a guy coming in the draft, right? Like a Tua, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, wanting to go to a team like the Bills, Jets, or Dolphins or something. I could see from their point of view, me putting myself in their shoes, saying, "Hey, the Patriots are on the the way out. This is my team. I can write our own storybook, write our own history, and hopefully create a dynasty." But if you're one of these players that's 29 years old, 27 years old, that's just going to hit the free agency market, you might not be a star. You have such a bad reputation as an organization. I would rather, I could see a lot of players opting to go sign for the New York Giants instead, right? They're pretty much playing the same stadium right next to Manhattan, pretty much right in the middle of everything. Why would you want to go play for the incompetent Adam Gase? And there's already, I remember after week 1 of last season, because everybody hated the Gase hire. week 1 of last season, people were saying that he just needs to go. Adam Gase needs to go. And I was kind of under the assumption, like, obviously you have to give a brand new coach more than one game, but I really feel as though the Jets need to do what the Browns did with Freddie Kitchens and just let him. If we start off the season like 1-5, we can't let it go on any longer. We cannot give him a third year. But I have a feeling this is what's going to happen. The Jets next season are probably going to go 6-10, 7-9. And we're going to finish average again, and it's going to be Chris Johnson's going to be on the fence. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? Let's just give him another season, and it's going to be another wasted season. With Darnold going into year 4, so can't get into it. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Those are kind of just my frustrations kind of come to a head a little bit. Like if you're a guy like a Logan Ryan, a Bradley Roby, a Unique Ngakoue, I really don't see the benefit in signing with this Jets team, and that's my overall fear, right? That they're going to be like, yeah, the Jets, the team that shops their best players, that lies to their players, that have they're constantly in the media with random rumors swirling about. None of their players like their head coach, and keep in mind, Adam Gase has burned bridges, ruined relationships with a couple players in the league, right? Jay Ajayi, who actually currently is not in the league, Pouncey, former Dolphin. Jarvis Landry openly does not like Adam Gase at all. You see all these things about Ryan Tannehill kind of flourishing, even though I think that's overblown. But even guys like Kenyon Drake with Arizona had a solid season with the Cards. Devontae Parker burst onto the scene this season. First year without Adam Gase, gets a 4-year extension for $40 million. So to me, it's just too much noise. It's too many red flags. I'm not on board. I was never on board with the initial hire, but it is what it is. He's going to be the head coach of the team. So let's see, right? Let's see if Adam Gase gets his wish and he could draft all the players that he wants and he could sign all the players that he wants. Let's see the team that he could put together and see how it performs. Because so far, it has not been what has been sold to us as Jets fans. It really has not been. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and go Jets.